So Anton Daniels made a video reacting to a Christian woman who moved to a new city, met a guy that she said was emotionally manipulative, and got pregnant by him. He said some things in the video that I thought were a bit puzzling, so I wanted to comment on those things and also hear what y'all had to say. So let's take a listen.
And so that's what I plan to do. This will be released in long form because there's so many things that happen as it relates to my journey. However, short form, I fell in love with the counterfeit. He came at a time where I had just moved to Dallas, just, started everything new. Literally came to Dallas with 2 suitcases, a book bag, and my dog. Okay, that's all I came with. I had sold my car when I was in Arizona. I had just got a job when I got here. Somebody had recommended me for a job, and I had literally started building my business right when I got here. And so I would literally go to work and tell people and tell myself, like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And I had talked to God, and I told him, like, I'm going to stay here for this amount of months. By the time I'm ready to leave, I'm going to have this amount of money that I'm going to put towards to invest in myself, to invest in my business, and to have enough money for me to be able to live. And that's what I'm going to do, God. You're going to make sure that I can do it. And that's exactly what he did. However, in between that, I found a man, fell in love with the man, and ended up getting pregnant by him.
She seems like a very, very sweet person. Seems like a very nice young lady, sweet spirited. A little bit of misguiding narrative there, and I'm not really sure if always sharing your story is the right thing to do because I think that people that have the results probably are best fit for that. But it doesn't go together. Christian, pregnant, and single.
Okay, I want y'all to keep in mind what he said there. He said it doesn't go together. Christian, pregnant, and single. Let's keep listening, but keep that in mind.
I don't know, man. I'm just gonna be nice on this one because it's just like, yo, how do you even find yourself in this situation? And I know that a lot of people are always gonna hit us with the, but we fall down, but we get up. Like they gonna hit you with that. But I think that one of the reasons why, completely unrelated but related, one of the reasons why people don't take Christians seriously or Christianity seriously is because we don't really have a moral code or standard, and it's just like, yep, you could be a single baby mama, yep, you could be this, yep, you could be that, and of course the Bible speaks of forgiveness and grace and all of that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, at what point will we stop? Our story stop being about how we can be redeemed, but instead we can start being a servant and being a servant.
So he said, at what point will our story as Christians become less so about redemption, how we can be redeemed, and more so about being a servant? But Anton, the whole premise of the Bible from the very beginning is redemption, right? The whole story of Christianity is based on redemption. The Bible is a redemptive arc. If you start from the beginning with Adam and Eve, Adam and Eve ate of the fruit from the forbidden tree, and God, what did he do right after that? Chased after them. He pursued them. He asked Adam, "Where are you? Adam, where are you? Why are you hiding from me?" And so, even from the very beginning of time, God is redeeming his people. And then the whole Bible is a story of God redeeming his people who have fallen to sin through sending his son Jesus to die for us, right? And to lead us into the way everlasting, the righteous way. And that's the insanely beautiful thing about Christianity, is that we can sin, we can fall away from God, and he will keep pursuing after us. Even though that all of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, Romans 3:23, he still pursues after us. He still chases after us. Now, does that mean we should continue sinning? Absolutely not. No, and Paul talks about that in Romans 6, saying that shall we continue sinning so that grace may increase? Absolutely not. But that also doesn't mean that God isn't in the business of redeeming. And I also don't think that that's what this woman was saying in the video. I didn't get that she was saying that she can keep sinning, she can keep veering off the path that God has for her, and God will still redeem her. God will still redeem because that's just what he does, but she wasn't saying that you can still be a Christian and continue willfully sinning. I don't think that's the message she was trying to push. And so I hear Anton when he's saying it makes a mockery of Christianity and the gospel for people to be living in sin and still claiming to be a Christian. I agree with that 100%. But I don't think that's the message she was portraying. I think it was more so of, hey, here's my testimony, here's what I've been through, here's how I veered off of God's path, and here is how God has been redeeming me, and here's what he's been teaching me. At least that's what I got from the video. And that brings me to Anton's other comment saying it doesn't go together, Christian, pregnant, and single. But you want to know what also doesn't go together? Christian, single, and adulterer. Yet we constantly reference David's words in the Psalms for wisdom, for how to pray, all these other things. This was a man after God's own heart who willfully killed somebody else's husband so he could sleep with his wife. But we continue, like I said, using his words for wisdom. We read the Psalms, we reference the Psalms all the time. You can have all of these labels and still be a Christian. From what I read in the Bible, the only prerequisite for Christianity is confessing with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believing that God raised him from the dead 3 days later, Romans 10:9. You want to know what also doesn't go together? Christian, single, and murderer. And yet we always reference Paul's writings in the New Testament to the different churches. We look to them for wisdom. We use Paul's words for instruction all the time as Christians. And so I'm not really too sure what he meant by Christian, pregnant, and single doesn't go together. I understand what he means is if he's saying if you continue being in sin, if you continue veering off the path that God has for you, then that doesn't go together. Absolutely. But labels have never taken away somebody's Christianity. And this is from the beginning of time. Paul wasn't labeled not a Christian because he murdered people. David wasn't labeled not a Christian because he committed adultery. And which is, like I said, the insanely beautiful thing about Christianity. Because how wild is that? How wild is it that you could be doing all these things, that you could have done all these things, and God still looks at you as his beloved, still forgives you, still welcomes you. It's crazy. It's from the human standpoint, it's irrational. But that's the beautiful part about Christianity, is that no matter how far you veered off of God's path, he still pursues you and he still welcomes you with open arms. I think that's what she was trying to get at, is that she veered off of a certain path and this is her testimony, and God is pursuing after her and redeeming her. So if I'm wrong, if I missed what she was trying to say in the video, y'all can correct me in the comments. Anton, if you're watching, you can also comment and correct me. I love having conversations, so I'm always open to correction. I just wanted to skip to this last part because I think this is kind of what she was trying to get at in her video. I think this sums up what she was trying to communicate. So let's listen right here.
Okay. In between the gaps. But I wanted to just, let you know, you that's listening, that whatever sin that you have done, whatever situation that you have found yourself into, however you have fell off of the track that you have been on, God will literally meet you where you are.
Yeah, I feel you.
And I think that's what the crux of her message was, right? At the end of the day, if you veer off of God's path, God will continue pursuing you. And so I'm not really seeing where she's not taking accountability. I didn't see the point Anton was making there. But again, if I missed something, y'all can let me know. I'm just going off of what I saw. So yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next video.